Today we got J-Pow and Janet Yellen speaking here in about 30 minutes. So the plan for today is to wait till closer to 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. So no rush right now. Good to see you too, Umair. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Thanks for being a member. Appreciate it. So still getting things set up here. Appreciate your guys' patience as I get started. Looks like we got a handful of people in here. All right. Market is open. Turn on some charts. I've got the 200 EMA, the 20 EMA, and the 9 EMA on this chart. For those that are wondering, this is pretty much all that I use. Sometimes I will use split screen, and I'll have the ADD on one side and the SPX on the other. Sometimes Stacy charts are a little finicky with the indicators, so sometimes you have to refresh it. Other times it's fine, but we'll see. This is pretty much all that I use to figure out when I'm going to do trades. Usually around 8:45 Central Standard is when I start placing my first trades. I just look at the price action here. I just don't want to see it running up or down. If it's relatively flat, then I'll put on a trade around then. Today with J-Pow and Janet Yellen speaking, they both start at 9 o'clock Central. So I'm going to wait until probably like 5 minutes before 9 to put on any of those trades. Just because the market's going to hold its value here. It's almost like an FOMC day where the market hangs on every word that they say. So I don't anticipate the market taking out much premium before 9 o'clock. I could be wrong, but I'm just going to wait till closer to 9 o'clock in order to put on trades. Andy, no, I do the ADD, so it's all of the New York Stock Exchange. So it's NYSE advancing. You can use the ADSPD if you want. I just like to see the broader market. Yep, same strategy as always, Umair. Just gonna open it a little bit later today. So Usually in the morning, I do my SPX trades. I have been getting into some tickers just for the long term, just because I don't want to have all my eggs in one basket. So a couple of the ETFs that I usually buy, I usually buy one share a day. Cube, the first one, Cube Smart. They're a self-storage company. It's got a decent dividend, so I buy one share of Cube. I buy one share of MPW, which is a medical properties trust. Hasn't been very good. For a while, but they've got a decent dividend. So I kind of hang it around the $5 mark here since October. Not the greatest. You can see my cost average is our cost base is 825, so not all that terrific, but I like to have some of those dividends. There's the S&P, just a straight shot up. I was looking for some background music to put in here, and I really want to do Bulls on Parade by Rage, but can't license them through YouTube, so I'd have to reach out and all that. But yeah, Bulls on Parade, just all the time. 20-year chart. I mean, it's just straight shot, minus COVID, minus a little bit in 2022, but Bulls have been happy. So I'll just keep it on this view for now. See a nice flat opening. That's kind of what I expect here before Powell testifies. Yeah, I can give you a quick overview. So essentially what I do in SPX, I'll open up a trade. And what I've been doing is based on premium lately. And on the put side, I'll go around 150. And on the call side, I'll go around $1. And then I usually buy the first 5 cent, 10 cent long. And that's just for buying power reduction. So you can see that one of these takes up today $5,500 minus the credit. I'll put this in as 2 separate orders. So I'll place this on one side, and then I'll go over and you could do either of these somewhere around the dollar mark. This year calls I've been down on the year, so I've been doing smaller credits on the call side, larger credits on the put side, just to get a little bit further out of the money. So you can see the market kind of rallying a little bit here. So I probably go into this one, buy the 5 cent, 10 cent mark, put that on, and then once I get filled, I will put a stop on just the short leg. I'll look at my history, and I'll see how much I got in for. So here, if it was $1.45, I'd go 3 times that. So I put this in at like 440. I usually round up to the nearest dime, but I'll go up to 440. I'll put it in a stop market, and then I'll put that in. I'm not going to put the trades on now. I'll wait till closer to 9. I have a video in the works. I've been so busy that I haven't been able to get it out, but stop market versus stop limit. I used to do stop limits all the time. So I used to do stop limits, and then I did a 40-cent gap between the trigger and the stop loss, and I never had any issues there. In the fall of last year, the CBOE came out with a new drill through protection, and essentially it made stop markets better in that you won't have the rogue fills. The reason I did the stop limit is because usually like once a quarter, you'd have strikes that would just go rogue even if SPX barely moved, the option prices would spike. So you might see like this 50-cent option here go to $10 out of nothing. And to avoid that, I just did stop limits. So I would still get a bad fill, but it'd be at $3 instead of $10. But since last fall, when the CBOE put this new drill through protection standard in, I haven't seen any rogue fills. I've switched to stop markets, and I haven't had any issues. All right, I think I'm back. Of course, my internet decides to cut out. So I switched to my phone internet, so it probably won't be the best, but hopefully. All right, I think I'm back again. Good reason to always have a backup internet source. I always have my phone here. I can do a mobile hotspot in case I lose connection, just like that. So going back to your question, Andy, I usually always trade. Sometimes I don't if it's FOMC, or I'll trade smaller. So a lot of times, let's just say my normal total size is 10 contracts. You got an FOMC, I'll do like 4 contracts instead of 10. Or I'll go further away or further out of the money for some extra cushion. But I usually trade every day that I can. I also have a full-time job, so sometimes if I'm away from work, then I can't. But even then, I try to do it on my phone. Yeah, sorry about the internet quality, guys. It's not looking the best right now. I'm not sure why it's so bad. Hopefully it gets better here. Try to refresh here. There we go. All right. So, Cube, MPW, other ones that I like to do are O, Realty Income Group, popular one. Good dividend, pays monthly. So 1 share of that. SJNK, high yield bond ETF. I've been adding that lately. So 1 share of that guy. I put these on the bid, and then I'll go back and I'll uptick it later on so I get filled. SPAB, another bond ETF. SPHY, another bond. Actually, this one is the high yield ETF here. Put one on there. SPLG. Just S&P 500. I like this one because it's $65 a share right now instead of SPY, which is a lot. Then SPYD, usually a share at $40. High yield dividends on the S&P 500. And then last one, Xcel Energy, XEL, because they are my energy provider. So why not? So just going to work some of these here. So we get closer to 9 o'clock. So for those that just started watching here, I'm waiting to closer till 9. Because that's when Jerome Powell will start speaking. It's almost like a FOMC day. I think the market's going to hold on to its value until he starts to speak. So I'm just going to wait till closer to 9 so I'm more centered. And then we'll get started here. But I wanted to get people in here, so if they had questions, they could ask them. Appreciate you guys jumping in. I was looking, I haven't done a stream since June of last year. Been really busy. I got a full-time job, so I can't just stream all the time. And got a few kids at home, newborn. Just welcome to newborn here a little bit ago, so been extra tired, extra busy, so haven't had as much time as I wanted to. Performance since last stream, it's been pretty good. You can let's see, if we go, so you can see, whoops, there we go. So my website, IncomeOptionsTrading.com, if you go to the blog, the first blog here is my SPX Iron Condor returns for the year. In this, I only use the first entry of each day. I don't do the full contract size. So if you do 10, you just multiply these numbers by 10, and that would be what you're at. So this is my first trade of each day. You can see, I'll scoot this over a little bit. So put spreads up $2,600 per lot this year. Call spreads, I'm down almost $600 per lot. So calls had not been kind this year, and that's why I've been going with lower credit for the most part. But if I scoot this over, still up $2,000 on the year on $6,200 of average buying power. So about 30% through 2 quarters. So on pace for 60% return on buying power. I think last year I was like 95%. So definitely tougher than last year, but not horrible. I mean, positive is positive. Here's the graph, so you can see had a rough start, and then it had a little bit of an uptrend, but then some choppy sideways, and hopefully this is the start of another leg up. So one thing with the 0 DTE trades is it seems like it's either going sideways or you get these kind of these run up. So as long as you stay consistent, usually it's good. But past numbers don't indicate how you'll do in the future, so this could go negative, but hopefully it doesn't. So there's that. About 10 minutes before Powell starts to speak here. Appreciate you guys starting here. Hoping to do this more often in the future. I might just do this as members only streams just to keep it more low key. But we'll see here. I wanted to try this out, see what people think. Kind of a weird day with FOMC. So we'll look back here. So yeah, real flat morning. So if Powell wasn't speaking, this would be a great look for the price action. I know some people have asked me about, what I look at for price action. I just want a flat market, and this is just flat. If you got to run up, like if this was the S&P chart, then I might wait a little bit because this looks pretty bullish. I want it to be a little bit more centered. So just kind of waiting. Another thing too, I think is overlooked a lot. A lot of traders want something that's flashy and fun, but if you're trading boring, usually that's good. So, none of this is real riveting. I put these on, I let them sit, and I've been tightening my stops more this year, so that's been a change. Just because I've seen some major reversals where it looks like I'm going to be a full winner, and then all of a sudden you get a big drop or a big push up, and I get stopped near the end of the day. So I've been tightening my stops a lot more aggressively here the last month and a half. Yesterday I did a horrible job. So if we look at yesterday here, it's super flat day yesterday, relatively speaking, but I think I tightened my stops somewhere maybe in here, and then I got immediately stopped out with this little drop. Re-entered a couple, and then I think I got stopped out on this candle here because I just moved it up. So I had 2 stops on the put side, and I just basically broke even on the put side and made money on the call side. So it was just a small up day. For those that follow me on Facebook on the tastytrade options, I've been posting my actual trades here. Selected one row. I don't know why. Let's see. Nothing today. Custom. So June 18th is when I started. So since then on SPX, I'm up 16,000 with about $1,000 in fees. So been good over the last couple weeks. Can't complain. This is based on $150,000 account, so up 10% in less than a month. I'm going a little bit more aggressively than you might want to. I'm using closer to 35-40% of my buying power. Usually I would say closer to 25% is probably a little bit safer, but higher risk, higher reward type of plays. So the end goal for this fund is to get 15% to 100% return on the account. I'm already at 10% in a month, so well on my way there, but you got to stay focused and keep risk in check. So other strategies that I do, I've done the ZEBS trade, the zero extrinsic hedged back spread. That's from Tony from Mexico. I do have a video on that. It's pretty popular. That's a bullish trade with a built-in hedge. I haven't been trading that this year because I'm dumb and I keep thinking the market's gonna flatten out instead of just, ripping higher every day. So that's it. That's one that I've used in the past. I haven't really done it this year. I have some hedges with the 4-4 series. I know in the TC trade group, a lot of people do like the 1-1-2 approach. I'm not a huge fan of that, but it's the same type of trade. I call it the 4-4-4, where I do 4 put spreads in SPY and then 4 short puts in MES. I got some videos on that too, but really my bread and bread and butter has been the SPX 0 DTE trades. That'll show you here in a couple minutes. And then I buy one share of those stocks that I showed this earlier on. Rut, I don't like going on rut. This option spreads aren't the best. I mean, they're at the money, they're 30-cent wide. I mean, just gross. If you go in the money, it's 50 cents on one side, it's $1 on the other side. Like, no thank you. Not a fan of the liquidity here. Volumes, I mean, on the put side, this one's 80. Call side, you have one that's 113, but I mean, it's just so low volume that it doesn't interest me. If you compare that to SPX already, you're in the thousands. So I stick to SPX. I stick to the liquidity. So we're at 857 here, so I'll start putting on my trades. So there's a little run up. This is why I waited until just before 9, because I want to be centered. If I would have put it on earlier, I might be off by, it's one strike. It's probably not a big deal, but I just wanted to stay more in the middle when Powell starts to testify here. So just watching the price action, still moving up a little bit. Probably wait, hoping that this comes down to the 87 range. A little bit of a pullback. We'll see. I'm no technical analysis expert, so a little bit of a pullback there. So we'll get started. It's 858 here. So on the put side, I like to go around that 150 mark. So I'd be looking at one of these two strikes. I'll go with the 55.55. I'll sell that, and then I'll buy the first 5 cent, 10 cent long. So I think this is the exact same strikes that we used this morning. I think it was like 150 then, but the market's up a little bit more, so makes sense. But 135. Could also be more aggressive here and go with 55.60. Up to you. I'll play it a little bit safer and go with that. So I'll put that in. And then on the call side, I'll go closer to $1. So I'll do the 56.10 here for now. And then I'll buy the first 5 cent, 10 cent. It's 90 cents. It's a little bit lower than I want, but we'll do that to start. So I got filled there. This side I'll work a little bit. Nope, we're filled. All right, cool. So then I go into history here today. So 97 cents. Pull up the calculator here so everyone can see what I'm doing. So on the call side, I got 97 cents. So I'd take 97 times 3, 291. I'll go up to the nearest dime. So I'll go from 291 up to $3. So I'll go back to the call side, do a stop market for 3. Put that in. Put side 145. So same thing. 1.45 times 3. 435. I'll round that up to 440. So I'll do 440 here. That's basically the scenario. On tastytrade, if you right click an option, you can click view option and chart. And you can see your stop here. You can see the price action of the individual option. So this is usually what I look at. And then if you want to change your stop from the chart, you can just click on the stop and move it. So if I want to move it down to 350 at one point, you could do that. But I don't want to do that. So 440 is what I was at. So move it back up. 440. And with JPOW starting to testify here, market getting a little bit more volatile, coming back a little bit, what I expected. So we'll enter some more. 3x of net credit. Yep. And that gives us or 3x. So it's 3x on the credit received of the short leg only. So if I go to history here, on the call side, this got filled for 90 cents. But I got 97 cents on the call side, and I paid 7 cents for the debit of the long. So I do my 3x credit on the 97 cents, not on the 90 cents. And I basically treat these as synthetic strangles. So I pretend that I don't even have these longs when I put the stops on. So this one, go around the 150 mark. You could do either of these. I'll do the 55.60 strike this time. Gotta go a little bit wider. Have that fill, or have that work a little bit. And you might see that, the 5 cent, 10 cent option shifted. So instead of adjusting, I'm going to cancel and put in a new order. This is why I do individual sides instead of all together, so I can work this a little bit more. So I got filled there. I always put the stop in right away. So 1.67 times 3, 510. So go to that option, stop market, 510. I always put the stop in before I put in the next one because I don't want to forget putting it in the stop order. This one, you can go either one around $1. So you could go to 56.10. Could go to 56.05. I'll go to 56.05 because why not? Buy the first 5 cent, 10 cent long. Put that in. Let that work a little bit. I'm pretty aggressive on changing the price. I want to get filled. I don't want the market to run away. And here I see that it went to 5 cent, 15 cents. So I'm going to cancel it and put it in with a new 5 cent, 10 cent. Just kind of working it here a little bit. I want to buy the long for cheap. It's usually 7 cents. Sometimes it's 10 cents. But I really just want to treat this as a strangle. So 162 on that one. So 486, I'll round that up to 490. This is really all I do. It's I'll space these out by a couple minutes. I'll usually have this on the other screen. You can pop it out here. So I usually have 1 or 2 monitors. When I'm at my desk, I'll have 2 monitors, and I'll just have this open in the background so I can see the price action, see if it's matching with the ADD. So if the ADD is going down, for example, but SPX is going up, that might be a sign that SPX might turn around. So here you can see that both ADD and SPX are going down. So both are kind of in step with each other. And for those that don't know, the ADD just is how many stocks are up or down on the day. And this one is based on the New York Stock Exchange. I think there's like 2,000 stocks on that. You can also do the SPD, I think is what it is. And that's just for the 500 S&P 500 stocks. Doesn't really matter. But here we can see that we're having a little bit of a drop in the market. So I might just wait a little bit. Market not liking what JPOW's saying. So I'll just take it slow today because it's kind of like an FOMC day. If I go back to the SPX here, we can Look at the option, had a little spike there, but still pretty far away from the stop. But you know, it's not really that flashy. It's kind of boring trading, but boring is usually good. Yeah, Andy, I usually hold it till close. I'll tighten my stops so that if all of my trades are profitable in the afternoon, I'll tighten my stops so that I lock in that profit. So in this case, if you know, if in the afternoon, if this is trading at say 50 cents, I'll bring this down to below the 167 cost basis, and that'll lock in my profit. So if I get stopped out, it's still a stop for a profit. So I've been doing that this year. I haven't done it in the past, but there's been so many times this year where I don't do anything and I'm sitting nicely in the green, and then an end of day rally during power hour or something like that just plows through this. And it's really frustrating seeing your account go from green to red. So I'd rather lock in a small green day than risk a red day, at least this year. So not sure how much longer I'll be doing that, but at least for the foreseeable future. I'm guessing through the election, so probably through the end of the year, I'll keep tightening my stops. So you can see the option came back down to closer to where it was a couple minutes ago. Some market probably rallied there a little bit. Yep. So put on my next layer here. So again, around 150 on the put side. Go with 55.55, strike again, do the same spread. So it's the 5,500 is the 5-10 cent long. So I'll put that in, let that work a little bit. And if I see that it's moving away too much, I might adjust that. But there it got filled at 142. So 142 times 3, 426, round that up to 430. Here, when I select it, the default quantity I have is 2. So I want to go that, bring that back down to 1. So put in my stop market here, 426, round up to 430. Reviewing cents. Now when I go into that option chart, you can see I have my 2 stops. One at 430, one at 440. If these were at the same strike or the same price, they would just overlap and it would still just show 1. So sometimes you might have stops that are stacked on top of each other. So just be aware about that. Thanks for stopping in, Andy. Appreciate it. So fiscal, yeah, one side will stop out at break even, the other side would be a winner. If I do the tighten stop, then yes, that's the case. That one side would be a slight winner and the other side would be a full winner. So I got 3 on the put side, 2 on the call, so I'll do one more. On the call side, could do the 5605 again. I'll be a little bit more aggressive and do the 5600. Again, by the first 5 cent, 10 cent long. Lock that in, let that work a little bit. You'll notice that I don't have the working order symbol, and that's because I'm still on the options symbol, so it doesn't register that I'm on SPX. So you can click SPX again, and it'll show your working orders. So that got filled. So go in here, 172. So 516, round that up to 520. Again, a stop market at 520. And I do the stop market now because of the enhanced drill through protection that the CBOE did. I want to do a video here in the future. I have it done. I just have to edit it. But talking about why I switched to stop market and about little bit more of the details on that drill through protection. But I switched to stop market. So market's rallying a little bit here. So if I get stopped out, you know, it's not a big deal. I usually get stopped out on a few contracts each day. Since I've started in June, I've only had one losing day, which has been kind of a miracle. Just to show that again. So June 18th is when I started. So this includes today. So I'll go through yesterday. For those that didn't see it at the start of the stream, about 16 grand since the 18th, so less than a month. Over 10% of my $150,000 account. So it's been pretty good. Can't complain. But this is more of a higher risk approach to the strategy with a little bit more buying power to work. So I'm okay with larger drawdowns. I expect larger drawdowns, so if they happen, they happen. But right now, it's in pretty good. All right, I'll do a couple more trades here and then probably call it. I mean, it's a lot of the same. So go around the 150 mark on the put side, sell that, buy the first 5 cent, 10 cent call, or a long, I mean, sorry. Put that in, got filled right away. Got that for 175, so 175 times 3. 525 round up to 530. And put in a stop market. Call side, go around $1. So I'll sell the 5605 here for 115. Buy the first 5 cent, 10 cent. Lock that in for $1.10. Someone sold for $1.20. So do that for 360. Really not all that flashy, guys. All right, do another one. Around 150 on the put side, so I'll do this spread. Again, I only do the longs for the buying power reduction. I pretend I don't even have it. Let's let that work a little bit. Market rallying a little bit, so that spread coming down in value. Just working it. Every couple seconds dropping it. But you could get screwed on a little pop and drop. Filled at 140. Sold for 150. Times by 3, that's 450. Got that in. Run $1 on the call side. I'll do that spread. 107 times 3. 330. Well, I forgot to change the quantity. So the told me I already had a closing order. So just bring that down to 1 and that'll be good. Do another one on the put side here. And I'm just going one by one. You could sell more than just one at a time if you want. No issue with that whatsoever. $4.90 on that stop. I do have a full-time job, so usually when I'm doing this a lot quicker and larger tranches just to get filled quicker because I don't have a whole lot of time. So one thing I like about the strategy is doesn't take a lot of time. So like I said, I think I might do some more of these streams for members only in the future. So if you're interested in that, feel free to sign up. Also get a Discord where you can contact me with questions. But yeah, kind of once you've gone through it once, you can go through it all the time. It's just tweaking it a little bit based on what the market's doing. So with this market, I've been more aggressive on the put side, less aggressive on the call side. And really want to track your metrics so you can keep an eye on that and you can react. If you're in the Quantum Options Facebook group, Tammy Chambliss is very active there, does a lot of back testing. She usually shares monthly the returns on her account based on when you enter. So I think the most recent one showed that 8:45 Central was pretty profitable in the morning, whereas back in May 9 o'clock was better. So the past month has been better for a little bit earlier entries, but she does afternoon entries with the multiple entry iron condor that she does. That one has a 2x stop instead of a 3x stop, so get stopped a little bit more. Doesn't fit my personality as much. I'd rather get stopped out less, but have larger stop outs. But if that doesn't fit your trading style, then that might be better for you. It's pretty similar in return. I think hers actually is better than mine. Hers has a lower premium capture rate, so whatever she sells, the amount of credit she sells, she keeps less of that in the end. But she's selling more spreads because she's doing tighter spreads. So I go here today, it was 55 wide. She'll go like 30 wide, so she can sell basically 2 spreads to my 1 spread. So mine, there's less trades and there's more of the premium capture rate. So I get to keep more of the credit that I sell, but overall profit, she has more overall profit, at least in the past year and a half. So But like I said, that's a different trading style. She does the stop on spreads, which I don't like, because if later in the day if one becomes worthless, then you can't sell it. If you try to sell, if I go way up here, if this is where you're left with at the end of the day, you can't sell this no matter what happens. So she uses TAT, Trade Automation Toolbox, which I also use. And nice thing about that is it automatically converts your spread stop to a short only stop if it senses that the long has no value. So I do have a link to that. It should be in the video description below. It's a 30-day trial if you use my link. Otherwise, it's a 14-day free trial. But it's a bot trading software. You could set this up to do it automatically, and I do. I have a smaller account that I do that on. But it's really helpful there. You need to have Interactive Brokers as your platform. That's the only one that works. So you can't use Thinkorswim or Tasty on it, at least yet. Kyle, who's the founder, really wants to focus on getting all the features for just one broker before he tries to do multiple. So that's something you're interested in. I have some videos on that on my channel. Otherwise, feel free to reach out if you have specific questions. So I'm just gonna keep selling. I have my on my other screen. I have my positions open so I can see how much I've sold already. So I know what my limit is. So I'm not at my limit yet. So I'm gonna sell some more of these. Is there a way to backtest your Titan stops? You can. I have Option Omega. I also have a link of that down below. If you sign up through the link, you get 50% off your first year, which is quite a good deal for a full year. But you can do Titan stops there. The problem is I've kind of on my trade automation toolbox, I have a template. So I have it set up so that if it hits, I think it's 85% profit, and if it's after 12:30 Central Standard Time, then it'll tie in my stop to 90%. So it locks in that 10% profit. So there I have it. So you could backtest that all you want because that's very mechanical. But for me, I just have this open, on the side. And if I see the market is well below my stop, I'll manually move these. So I don't have a good way of backtesting because it's not super mechanical. It's more so a gut feel where it's, hey, I want to time these stops because I don't like how the market's reacting right now. So it's tougher to backtest when it's more of a gut feel rather than a mechanical thing, like at this profit and at this time, then I'm gonna time my stop. So if you're doing that approach, you can definitely backtest that with Option Omega. But if you're just doing a gut feel, you can't really backtest that without going through manually. This market drop in here a little bit. For those that might have just tuned in, so we've got Jerome Powell and Janet Yellen both talking right now. So it's kind of like an FOMC day, a little bit more volatile it might be otherwise. So it actually hasn't been that volatile. I mean, we've had some mini drops, but I mean, if I told you that Powell started talking at some point today, looking at this chart, could you tell me when? Probably not. I mean, at this doji is when he started talking, so hasn't been too bad, but I don't know how long he's testifying. It might be longer. Maybe a couple hours today. FOMC is usually like you got the mini minutes that comes out, but then you have his press conference that usually lasts between 30 minutes to an hour. at the end of the day. So, it's usually a shorter time frame, but it's usually at the end of the day. So that's less time for it to get stopped out. So sell a couple more here, and then I think I'll be on my way. Appreciate the comments or the questions you guys have. I want to do more of these in the future. I have the last live stream I've done was in June of last year. It's just been really hectic. So and with how much I've liked this strategy, it's relatively boring, so you can't really talk about it too much. Kind of saying the same thing over and over again. But I think it would be fun to trade this on stream more often so people can see it, ask questions. So I think I'll do more of these members only streams in the future, just to have a spot where you guys can ask questions and all that. So still not at my limit here, so still selling a couple more tranches. I'm just doing one contract per tranche, but you can do 2 or 3 if you want. You can also spread these out more or less. You might want to be more or less aggressive. If you don't want to overlap strike so much. Usually the further out you are, further out of the money, the slower it takes to get stopped out. So not a bad idea to go further out of the money too. It's really up to your trading style. Everyone has a different style. Just because this works for me doesn't mean it'll work for you. You got to find what works. You can even take someone's trading style or template and morph it into something that works for you. So just looking at what Powell's saying. Fed needs more good data to feel comfortable about rate cuts. All right, cool. So it looks like he's still testifying. Pretty exciting. These are legging in compared to getting in 10 contracts all at once. Fiscal, not sure what your question is. I've done it both ways. I've legged in and I've done 10 contracts in one order. Both have pros and cons. If you do just the 10 orders, it's a lot quicker, but it's all or nothing at that point. If you leg in, then you end up something like this where you got a whole bunch of different stops. So if the market rallies, it might stop out your first three contracts, but then the other 3 are fine. So sometimes it can work out having multiple stop orders, but if the market's really rallying or really drilling to the core, it might not matter. If this goes up to $7, it doesn't matter if I legged in or not. Let's doing a couple more here. I know I've said that before here, but I also feel like I need like a partner, a co-host. It's hard to just talk to yourself for so long on this. So if anyone's interested in co-hosting this with me in the morning, let me know. And I'm just going through here, putting in my trades, putting in my stops. And I'm at my computer, so I can watch it. I have some alerts on my phone through Thinkorswim, and if the market drops or rises really rapidly, I get notified, so I can check this. You can also put alerts on Tastyworks, or tastytrade, I mean, sorry. I'll show you that here on the next. So if you want to set an alert on a certain option, whoops, we're going to change the quantity. You can right click and do the view option in chart. Now once you're in the chart, you can do this right tab here and go down to the alerts. It's a bell. And here you can change it so that if this option gets to, let's say, $4, if it's greater than $4, you can create this alert. And now it'll tell you if that put ever gets above $4, the last, it'll send an alert. So just one way to verify if your stop's closed. It was more of an issue, or a better check if you're doing stop limit orders, because you might have a stop that goes through your stop. But with stop market, it's not as much of a deal. Though I have seen on Thinkorswim at least one individual who had their stop order canceled by either the exchange or the brokerage. I haven't heard which one, but that'd be a scary thing where you think you have all your stops in and all of a sudden someone cancels it on you. So then you're stuck. Yeah, Kyle, a big nothing burger so far. I'm not complaining, but we'll see. Sometimes when they talk, that the market stays within a range, but then when he's done, they might rally. So I'll probably still tighten my stops here this afternoon if I'm in the profit zone. I'm looking at my screen right now. Just for those wondering, I'm up $460 so far on my SPX positions. So it's been pretty nice so far. But that can all change with one candle. I've seen good green days go to big red days just like that. So that's why I've been tightening my stops. $145 times 3, $440. All right, I think this will be my last one. 12 contracts today. I was planning to do like 8 today. Figured it'd be a little less. I thought the spreads would be a little wider, but they haven't been. It's been kind of a normal spread. Market rallying a little bit here. Change it to be a little bit more aggressive. I do have to warn people. It seems like every time that I stream, usually I stop out right as I'm ending the stream. So it seems like that's just the way it usually goes. So beware, I'm streaming, so it's going to be a rocky afternoon. All right, then last one on the call side, be a little bit more aggressive. And we'll wrap up here. If you guys have any last minute questions, feel free. Like I said, I'm planning to do more of these in the future, probably members only streams, just so they're more low key. I just have this on in the background so people can watch. Maybe not talk through as much unless people have questions. You can always email me at IncomeOptionsTrading@gmail.com. Otherwise, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully the rest of the day is good. Still pretty early. But yeah, that's all I got. Happy Tuesday. And I'll try to do this more often. So thanks for watching.